Hey folks, welcome back to Good Enough Customs. So, last video we had was Little John.
Yeah!
I already told y'all that ain't gonna get old. So last time we drug this truck home from an auction. Bought this thing sight unseen. Didn't know if it had a motor, if it ran. Didn't know a darn thing about it. Come find out that yes, it does run. In case you missed that one, this thing's a 1986 GMC Sierra 3500 dually, two-wheel drive, 350 4-speed truck. And it's pretty solid old truck. Cab corners are gone, but you know, whatever, that always happens. If you might remember, didn't have these guys. It was going to be raining this past week, so one morning before it was supposed to rain, I got up and came out here and put the glass in. I ended up stealing the glass out of Jackson's Blazer. Don't worry, this thing's not becoming a parts truck. But I did steal the glass out of the driver's door, and you can kind of see why. This thing's all bent up. If you look here, you can see how bent up this outside edge, the skin of the door, so to speak. It's just beat all to pieces. I think previous owner had it out in the woods, hooked a branch or a vine or something, and it just pulled that mirror right out and messed that door up. I am not a body man. I mean, I can kind of straighten some things out, but yeah, you'd be able to see that from a mile away. So we've actually got a set of doors outside that I picked up for the Blazer, so no harm there. So anyhow, getting back to the dually here, I got new glass in it, and well, you know, new to me glass. And then I came in here, I pulled the seat out so I could clean up and get the mouse house and all that crap out from in here. Well, wouldn't you know it, I broke a dang bolt off. So late yesterday I got out here just before dark or right at dark and ended up getting that worked out. So got that bolt out, and as luck would have it, I got plenty of extra bolts. So so I was able to get that sorted out. Now I need to get this truck where Steve is. Problem is yes, that truck runs and sounds really good, and we'll sit there and run all day long if you let it. There's something up with the clutch or the transmission or something. Now, it may come as a surprise, but I've only owned a handful of manual vehicles. I've never had to work on any manual vehicles, so it's all new territory to me when it comes to manual transmissions. So called up some friends, and basically their general consensus is, sounds like the pilot bearings failed. More than likely we'll have to pull the transmission and put a new pilot bearing in there. It'll sit there and run just fine with the clutch pushed in, but the moment you let off the clutch, even in park, the whole ass end of the motor starts hopping around. So that's what their thought was probably pilot bearing, maybe some bent clutch forks or something like that. But climbed under there yesterday and took a look, and I didn't see anything that looked out of whack externally on the transmission. So I need to get that guy pulled into the shop and Steve out of the shop. I've also got to put that seat back in the truck. But I can't drive the new dually. It won't move under its own power. So I'm gonna have to pull it around and push it around. I'm gonna use the daily driver for that, and a couple chains and a piece of pipe. And for those of you that haven't ever used a piece of pipe whenever you're pushing and pulling stuff, you're missing out, because it's damn handy. All I have is just a 3-inch, I think it's a 4-foot piece of 3-inch exhaust pipe. It should be heavy enough to do what I'm needing to do. It might wrinkle the ends up, but that's fine. I can always, you know, knock those back straight or cut the ends off and flush it back up. So anyways, I guess first stop that we're going to do is we're going to get the seat dropped back in to the dually, and then I'll get the daily hooked up, and we'll start moving and shaking and doing things, and see if we can't get this guy actually into the shop where I can start tearing into it after work during the week, since it's getting dark at like 5 o'clock. But at least get it in the shop where I can start tearing into it, kind of figure out what all's wrong with it, what all I need to fix, just to make it something that can go up and down the road. So I guess there's nothing really all that fun about putting seats in, so I'll go ahead and get that done, and I'll catch up with y'all whenever we get that thing hooked up. All right, so got the seat installed. Yeah, no, that's pretty standard stuff. Seats in, Taylor's picking at the hot glue on the dash, and we're getting ready to start tugging this thing around. So, you know, whenever it comes to pulling vehicles, it's pretty easy. A chain, a strap, whatever, works fine. When it comes to pushing things, though, it's a little different. So either you got a POS that you don't care about, or you got something that's purpose built. The Good Enough government truck, if it was ready to rock and go, then I'd probably just use it, slap a spare tire in front of the push bar, and just, you know, shove this thing around. But since that truck isn't running, also the rear end's locked up, and it's got one hell of a flat, and it's missing a tire or a whole wheel. That one's not happening today. So in order to preserve a little bit on the old daily here, I'm going to take this 3-inch exhaust pipe that I had sitting around, a log and chain, and then we're going to strap. First off, we're just going to hook up and drag this thing out of the way. So once we get this guy all turned around and ready to go into the shop, we'll utilize this little rig here to with the GMC to push this guy up into the shop. Done it before whenever hauling vehicles on the road, just something that doesn't have or has very questionable brakes, you know, and all you got the chain and a pipe, slide the two together, and now you got a tow bar. So kind of a tow bar. So that's what we're going to do. Get this guy all moved around, get Steve out of the way, and get this guy into the shop. So I guess I'll catch back up with y'all here in just a few minutes after we get some of this moving and shaking done. Proven to be a little bit more difficult than I anticipated. I've done it before, but never with anything quite this big. Is that what she said?
That's what she said.
Anyways, so ran back into the shop. I had another, I actually have a few more 3-inch, 4-foot long pieces of pipe, and basically made myself a little triangulated setup here with chains and, you know, all the good stuff. So my guess is this guy will hit back there on that hook. That guy will hit on that hook, and then we'll just push the slack up underneath the truck here. It ain't gonna push exactly straight, but it should push straight enough to make it work. So, all right, Taylor, you ready? All right, here we go. All right, well, just like that, we got her in the shop. So may have to do a little adjustment on position in here, because we're plenty of space over here and a little snug right here. So rather than trying to push and pull this stupid thing in and out, I'm just going to jack the front up, slide it over on the jack, do the same thing in the back. I've done it a million times before. Actually, I've got those wheel dollies. I could just use wheel dollies to do this as well. So I just got to get this guy positioned so I can actually work around it halfway decent, and then we can go from there. So whew, that took a lot longer than I anticipated. Probably a solid hour and a half of moving stuff around and doing. Pain in the butt. I guess now it's just, you know, getting this guy centered up so I can kind of work on both sides. And then we can kind of get to tearing in on it and seeing what I've got to work with here. So, all right. I guess I'm going to get to it, and I'll catch back up with y'all here in just a couple minutes. Alrighty, so got the truck in here, got it centered up a little bit better. Definitely can work on both sides now. So, yay. But since I've pulled this guy in the garage, the overwhelming smell of stale gasoline is, yeah, it's pretty strong. So I think what I'm going to do is try to pump the gas out of the old tanks. I figure I'll just go ahead and use the fuel pump and go ahead and just, you know, get it hooked up. You know, I'll have to change some things around, pull that loose from the carburetor, probably route it down here. And then right there's my fuel line, looks like. So I could probably pull that fuel line loose and then just reroute this hose from the from my jug down to there, and maybe be able to feed this out. Hopefully that'll work. Worst case, I have to get up underneath the truck and disconnect the fuel line back at the tank and, you know, drain it out that way. So I guess I'm going to get to it and see how this works. So, got to get, there's my feed line from the fuel tank. That guy, good Lord, thing's hard as a rock. The clamp is actually, should be able to access that from inside the wheel well. So I can get that guy pulled loose, and then I can get this pulled off the carburetor, looped up to that, and then take my other piece and put it in a bucket, basically. So let me see if I can't get that clamp, and we'll move things around. Well, that came off easier than I was anticipating. Let's see. Let's see if we can't get this guy on there. Okay. That works. There's that. Slide a bucket down here. And well, let's see if I can't get her lined up. All right. Let's see if we can't make that work. So I got a little bit, but not much else coming out of there. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, that's some nasty stuff. Well, now that we know we got that going, I'll let that run for a few minutes, wire this guy up a little bit better to where I don't have to hold it on there, and then continue letting it drain. So I'll be back once I got this thing drained out. I have smelled some rotten gas in my time, but my God, I've never had rotten gas literally burn your nostrils and make you dizzy. So I'm definitely killing some brain cells. It's just the slow ones, so it's okay. But yeah, this is bucket number 3, the final bucket of what came out of the fuel tank. Luckily, the fuel tank actuator does work, so I was able to switch between tanks. So it seems like the right tank was full and the left tank was empty. So, whew, it's pretty stout inside the shop right now. So I'm gonna let that air out for a little while. Probably not gonna get much done tonight, so we'll pick back up tomorrow. All right, next day, back out here in the shop. I can't tell you how bad that gas smelled. Oh my Lord. It was probably 10 gallons or better worth. I know I didn't fill them up to the brim because, I didn't want to spill it in the shop. But I filled that bucket up pretty close to the top twice, and then almost halfway the second time, or the third time. So, yeah, probably 10, 11 gallons maybe of some really, really rank and just god-awful smelling gas. Now, I did take and hook up the power to the truck and went inside and kicked the switch to switch between the tanks, because this truck does have the dual tanks, tank over here, tank on the driver's side. But I did switch it. One side just kind of sputtered a little bit out. I wasn't even keeping track of which side was doing what. Smart. But one side would sputter just a little bit out, and that was all she had, and the other side was damn near dry. So I figured the side that was damn near dry was probably the side that I got the most of the fuel out of, because I ran it till it just wasn't pumping anything else out. So fuel tanks are now empty, thank God. Garage actually smells okay. It doesn't reek of just old varnished gas now. So the next thing that I've got on this truck is, there's a lot. So we got to get a parts list together. We got to figure out what all I need on this truck, what all I'm going to have to fix just to make this thing run and drive down the road. We already know that the pilot bearing's probably shot, so it's kind of one of those sensuous things. Since I'm in there, I got to do the pilot bearing. I might as well go ahead and do, a fresh clutch, maybe even take the flywheel off, go get it surfaced, which I probably should if I'm putting a clutch on it. Go get that guy surfaced. Just go through all that stuff. Now, a little disclaimer. This is the first time I will have ever done anything with a manual transmission. I've owned plenty of them, but I've never had to actually tear one down. So I'll be learning a lot on this one. Seen it done a few times, but never been involved with it. Then we've got to get in here, and I've got to figure out why, I'm not getting any steering or brakes. So either the Hydro Boost pump is bad or the Hydro Boost unit's bad. We already know that there's plenty of just nasty crap floating around in the master cylinder. The brakes, don't know what's going on there. So I'll need to get this thing on jack stands, pull the wheels off, check the brakes, see what's going on there. Go ahead and just check over this thing, just see what all it needs to actually make it run and drive down the road. Obviously, it's going to need tires as well. But pretty much that's what I'm going to be focusing on right now, is basically tearing into this guy, see what it needs, put together a parts list so I can start shopping for parts and figuring out exactly what I need, and getting that all ready to go, so then I can just kind of start throwing parts at it and get this thing up and running. So I guess first order of business is getting this guy up in the air, getting the wheels off of it, getting it on some jack stands so I don't have to worry about it rolling around on me, and then we can start diving in on this guy and figure out what's going on. So I'll get it on the stands and I'll be back. Alrighty, so got the wheels off, and driver's side, I was thinking the brake was stuck. It's kind of stuck. It's tight. This side, it's stuck. I can't get this one to turn. The driver's side hose felt a little bit softer than this one. These guys, they're a pain in the butt to swap out. They're not expensive. There's like 20 bucks a side, or maybe it's $25 for the pair. I can't remember, but these soft lines are not expensive. They're just a real pain to swap out, because you have to deal with the fuel pump. Like on this side, you have to deal with the fuel pump and getting in there and trying to not round off your brake line. So we're going to start soaking these on both sides inside the frame rail to hopefully keep these guys from being such a pain in the butt. But with this guy, having been parked out in the field for God knows how long, like I said, last registration I found was like 2014. So guessing 14 or 15. So 8 years, 9 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. There's a lot of gunk. Plus, you know, whoever was maintaining this thing when it was on the road probably wasn't really maintaining it. So there's a lot of grease and gunk and crap just everywhere. So I got my scraper and a flat screwdriver just to get in here and start scraping some crap up and try to make this, you know, somewhat manageable, so I can see what I'm doing when I get in here to actually start working on this stuff. You know, it's kind of one of those, it sucks, but it makes it better in the long run. I did this on Big John when I first got the truck into the shop. I went through and I scraped so much gunk and just crap off that I mean, it was amazing how much stuff came off of that truck. This one I'm figuring is probably going to be about the same. So unfortunately, this is the name of the game for the next couple nights. Just getting in here and trying to scrape some of this gunk and grime off so I can actually see what in the hell I'm doing and see about what needs to be fixed. So I may time lapse this or something, or just throw a couple little things in there so, you know, show as you go. But a few of the things you're going to look for while you're doing this is, you know, obviously looking for broken stuff that grime and grease is just kind of covering up. I mean, yeah, this is pretty bad. But you know, if I do keep this truck, or depending on how bad everything is, I may end up lowering it. So this, you know, so it'll probably get a different knuckle. I'm not going to lower it like I did Big John. It'll probably only go 3 up front and like 4 or 5 in the rear, as opposed to 6, 8, which is what I did on Big John. But you know, if I do go and lower this thing, it'll get a new knuckle, so it's not that big a deal. But like I said, I don't plan on dumping that kind of money into it just yet. I just kind of want to go through here and see what all needs attention, what all needs fixing, before I go, you know, diving deep into it and really throwing some dollars behind it. So yeah, so this is kind of the name of the game. One thing you can do too while you're doing this, especially when you see the old upper ball joint, it's probably the factory one. They usually are. I don't think I've ever come across a truck that I've bought that hasn't had the factory ball joint. So, you know, you can scrape it out. If it's got rivets and not bolts, it's the factory. So, we'll see here in just a moment. This is pretty grimy. That looks like a rivet. She's smoothed up. So, yeah, factory ball joint. So, that's probably going to need a set of ball joints. Because I'm going to guess, what is this, an 86? So, 86 to 23. So, you've got, dang, this thing's 36. Is that right? Let's see, 83 to 23 would be 40. Yeah, 37. So yeah, it's 37-year-old truck. Still rocking the factory. Still rocking the factory ball joints. So I guarantee you, both ball joints, upper and lower, is going to be shot. So you know, yay, ball joints. Which also means the control arms are pretty well shot. Or the control arm bushings are probably pretty well shot. So, little tip for you that I found out on Big John is with your upper and lower control arms, if you're going to do control arm bushings and ball joints and all that stuff. I ended up finding a set on Rock Auto for, I can't remember how much it was. Now, this is a few years ago, but it was, I don't know, 120 bucks a side, or 120 bucks, or 180 bucks a side, something like that. I don't know. It averaged out to being cheaper to just go ahead and buy brand new uppers and brand new lowers with new control arm bushings and ball joints. It was cheaper to do that than to buy just the Moog ball joints and the control arm bushings and then worry about pressing all this crap in and getting all that stuff done. So so that's also food for thought. Like I said, that's what I did on Big John. I went with whatever brand they were. I mean, it didn't have the Moog ball joints and stuff like that. I can't remember which ones it was. Maybe the Mevotech. Which, I mean, their ball joints seem to be okay. I am not impressed with their tie rod ends. Because Big John's had nothing but steering problems ever since I put that steering together. And I think I got it narrowed down to the ball, or to the tie rod ends. I went in there the other day to, I say the other day, this is a couple months ago. Got in there to do some alignment on that guy. And that thing was just flopping like crazy. So I'm guessing those tie rod ends are pretty well shot. So the other nice thing about doing this is, you know, that wonderful feeling when you're working on stuff and you just, you know, especially if you're underneath a vehicle and you get that dirt bath that just, you know, feels so good and tastes wonderful, and you get all that shit in your eyes and all that fun stuff. Well, you know, ounce of prevention is worth a pound of whatever. I don't remember the saying. But yeah, you can get in here, you can get some of this loose crap knocked off, and whenever you're underneath it working, you ain't got to worry about, you know, getting a mouthful of fur and straw and mouse poop and, you know, all that fun crap. Grease and dirt. You know, all the fun stuff. So you can kind of mitigate some of that problem. So that's what I'm going to do. So I guess I'm going to get to it. Scraping and, you know, loving life. All right, so yeah, pretty grimy. Seen worse. Big John was definitely worse, but yeah, a lot of caked on grease, grime, dirt, mouse droppings, partial mouse houses. I'm pretty sure there used to be a mouse house back in here. Pulled a lot of crap out of there earlier, but yeah, I mean, you can see it ain't perfect by any stretch, but you know, this isn't perfect customs. So this at least gets me to where I can kind of see, you know, where bolts are, where nuts are, where threads are. I mean, a lot of this stuff's just really, really bad. So more than likely I'm going to end up having to replace pretty much all of this stuff. Which, you know, yeah, it might be a little bit of a waste of time scraping and, you know, scrubbing on this stuff. But, you know, if you can save a buck here or there, you know, let's go ahead and try. I mean, I could just say, all right, here's the credit card, let's have at it, and, you know, really do it up. But I don't want to do that, especially right now. Like I said, right now focus is brakes, steering, and going. So that's pretty much all I'm really concerned with at the moment. Like I said, down the road, I'm probably going to end up lowering this thing. You know, if I keep it, great, it'll look awesome. If I sell it, it'll still look really awesome. So, you know, once I go to doing the drop and all that stuff, okay, then I'll probably go and replace ball joints and replace, you know, control arm bushings, and probably just go ahead and replace upper lower control arms, just get it done. Plus I'll have, with the drop kit, it's going to end up having a, you know, a lower, it's going to have a drop spindle on it. Obviously those shocks are pretty gross. That'll have to be replaced regardless of if I lower it or whatever. Actually, I think I might have a set. I think I have a set of those sitting around here somewhere. I'm almost positive I do. I think I've got a set. So I may actually have some of those just kind of laying around, just some bone stock height. I think they're for the C10, but they should work temporarily. So, so that's kind of what my focus is this go around. Let's see if we can't get the brakes working, get the steering working, you know, all that little fun stuff. So I'm not too terribly concerned with like the ball joints and how crappy they are. I'm sure they're trash, but you know, we'll let them ride for now. But you know, I mean, this is a lot better than what I started with. You can see my catch pan. It's there's, you know, a significant amount in there. Probably, I don't know, 5-6 pounds worth of grease, grime, dirt, and mouse nest. Probably some poop in there too. So, so I still got to do the driver's side. I'm not going to film that guy because, you know, why? It's the same thing. It should look about the same. If I remember correctly, it's roughly the same looking, just grimy, greasy, gross, you know, bleh. So I'm going to get over there and get that done. And I'm probably going to call it a night. It is a work night, you know. Man's got to eat. Man's got to get some sleep, you know, because I actually do have to go to my normal job and earn a paycheck. So, so this will be kind of what I'm doing throughout the week, is just kind of cleaning up stuff, trying to be able to see stuff. Maybe later this week we can get in here and actually tear some stuff down, like get these brake calipers off. Like I said, this guy, he's seized up. So we'll get this brake caliper off. I hate these brake calipers because you got to pull this bolt out, and then you got to knock a slide out with a pin, and it's a whole thing, and it sucks. But get these calipers off so we can see what's going on behind the calipers. Maybe go ahead and pull the hub and, you know, see what the bearings look like up here. See if that's something, you know, like I said, we're going through and we're just going to try to get a parts list together of stuff that we need to get this guy on the road. So that's kind of, you know, job one right now, is we're not worried about, you know, making it awesome. Don't worry, that'll come. But, we're going to, you know, deal with trying to get it on down the road. So, so anyways, like I said, I'm gonna go finish up this other side, and, we'll catch back up, probably tomorrow. Oh, before I go, I know I teased it the other day whenever I brought this thing home, saying, you know, there may be something I want to do to this guy. And I might have to get y'all's guys' opinion on this. I've got a complete 1976 GMC front clip. You know, fenders, because it has the The body line that comes down has a curve on it. I've got the fenders. I've got a new core support. I've got the 76 GMC front end with a good grill and the good surrounds on the headlights, the round headlights, all that fun stuff, the valence that goes down in here. The only thing I'm missing is the hood, which I probably shouldn't have sold whenever I did, but at that time I didn't think I was ever going to use it. But I've got it just kind of poking around out back. I don't know. Do y'all guys like this guy being the square headlight truck, or, this front end? Don't mind the extension cord. But do y'all like this guy? So I don't know. I mean, y'all guys tell me. What do y'all like? I could really go either way on this. The hood on this guy's fine. This truck's probably going to end up needing to get a paint job. But what do y'all think? Do y'all think leave it with this same front end on it, or go ahead and switch it over to this front end? I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it's not anything I want to do right now, but it's something I'm thinking about in the future, because, hey, maybe I want to go through and actually, do this one up nice. I've actually got a set of 76 doors from the same truck that will fit right on here with the door panels and everything that you need. I don't have, like the dash wouldn't be right. That seat's going to go somewhere, or something's going to happen with that seat. But, I mean, if I decide to do this thing up, what do y'all think about converting it over to a 76? I always like the round eyes, a little partial to them, but I've got one of each right now that I drive, so. So, I don't know. Y'all guys drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Leave it square headlight, or throw a set of round ones on it. So let me know, and I'll take it into consideration. That's a long ways off. That's a long ways off before I even go doing that route. But I don't know. It's a fun little exercise to run in your heads. Like, what if? So, and if I did do that, I'd end up having to get, like I said, I have to get a different hood because, it's a different hood assembly. And, of course, that cowl goes away because it's all built into the hood. But I'd probably go ahead and get like a 2-inch cowl. I just think they look nice. So if I could get one for the right price, the other situation would be just find a stocker and do that. But I don't know. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Well, all right, folks. I was going through the edit and realized that I recorded a lot. It's probably 3 episodes worth of stuff. So I'm going to end up having to cut this one off here. Just know that things have escalated, and there's parts, and oh yeah, here's my bucket full of all sorts of crap from cleaning this thing up. So yeah, things have escalated, and things are happening. So so yeah, that'll be coming up in a future episode. So but for now, I do appreciate y'all guys watching. If y'all don't follow me on social media, don't worry. I don't blow up social media. I don't post all the time. It's every once and again, I'll post something kind of fun or whatever. But all my social media stuff's down in the description. And, be sure, like the video if you liked it. If you made it to the end of this thing and you haven't subscribed, be sure and hit the little subscribe button down there. It's not that difficult. And it just helps to grow the channel. So, again, I do appreciate y'all guys watching. It means a bunch. And tune in next week, because we're going to continue on with Little John.
What?
Yeah. It's not getting old. So, but we'll continue on with this truck, yeah, and move along and see about what we can't get fixed and get actually functioning on this truck besides the engine starting. So, all right, so I'm gonna leave it there, and we will see y'all guys next week. Just remember, folks, it ain't gotta be perfect, just good enough. Y'all guys have a good one.
Okay.